जय गजानन गणेशाय नमस्तुभ्यं हेरम्बाय एकदन्तिने स्वानन्दवासिने तुभ्यं ब्रह्मणस्पतये नमः। So friends, we have continued where we left off yesterday. We were discussing about the kshipta, the tendencies of the mind, where kshipta is the rajasic tendency of the mind, the tendency for going outwards to seek more and more pleasures, to engage with the world outside, to engage with objects, things, objects of pleasures, to increase desire for wealth, prosperity, for having a good wife, recognition in the society, and so on. So we were discussing how in this first khand, which comes later on in the first part, how this, when carried to the extreme, when it is carried to another level, where it leads to. So we began with the Rishi Richika, who wanted to get married, who was a Rishi. He had become old, yet he wanted to marry the daughter of the king, and how it led to the birth of Vishwamitra as the queen's son, and that is who was a Kshatriya, from the bowl of sweet dish that was presented to her by Ruchika Rishi, and how his own wife, Rishi Ruchika's wife, gave birth to a Kshatriya prince because she ate the rice, the sweet dish meant for the queen. Vishwamitra, born as a Brahmin, but having got into a family of the Kshatriyas of the king, he started doing the work of he started working doing the functions of a king. So he went out hunting. He went with his army and found sage Vasishta. And with sage Vasishta had a cow, Kamadenu, who was able to produce all kinds of things. And so he wanted to possess that cow itself. So he fought. But the Kamadenu herself produced an army. She Kamadenu Ichhapurti. That is, anything she desired, she could manifest. Anything anybody desired and asked of her, she could manifest. When she was attacked, she herself produced an army and fought Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra had to go back. But he always had he went back, he did penance, he prayed to Shankara. Shankara blessed him with a weapon of Agni, and he wanted to use it on Vasishta and somehow get that Kamadenu cow. So he went back to Vasishta's ashram, fought him, released that astra, Agni astra. But Vasishta, he was one of the Saptarishis. He had the Brahmadanda. He had done penance to Brahmadeva, and Brahma had given him Brahmadanda, which was a superior weapon. And because of when he released the Brahmadanda, the Agniastra was not effective. Ultimately, the Vishwamitra was disappointed. He had to go back. The Brahmins, all the other Brahmins in the ashram, they pacified Vasishta, and the peace was restored somehow. But Vishwamitra was not satisfied. He wanted to know what is it, this powers that this Vasishta has? How is it that the Brahma's powers, Brahmin's powers, are superior and incomparable, unimaginable as compared to the powers of a Kshatriya? So he wanted to know that. The Brahmadanda had proved powerful against all his astras. So with these thoughts, what he did was he renounced his kingdom, went to the forest, and started meditating on how to attain Brahmanatva, how to become a Brahmin, how to attain the position of a Brahmin. So what he did was he started meditating on the Gayatri mantra. Now, Gayatri mantra is the mantra which is given to a Brahmin or actually anybody, even a Kshatriya can be initiated into the Gayatri mantra, but or even a Vaishya can be initiated into the Gayatri mantra, provided those Diksha ceremony is done and the procedures are followed. That Gayatri mantra has the power to make you a Brahmin. It means give you the powers to walk on the path that takes you to Brahma, that takes you to the position or experience of the being of Brahma. So he started chanting the Gayatri mantra. He performed number of Purushcharanas. Purushcharanas are repetitions and rounds of repetitions. So he did 24 lakh times japa of the Gayatri mantra. Brahmadeva was pleased and he did this for 10,000 years. He went on chanting on this mantra for 10,000 years. Brahmadeva was pleased and he manifested before him. So Vishwamitra asked, so Brahmadeva said, ask for any boon. I shall give it to you. I'm pleased with your penance. Brahmadeva asked, give me Brahmanatva. So Brahma said, oh intellectual ascetic, he had become an ascetic. That is, he had gone to the forest and he had renounced his kingdom and everything. I cannot give you that boon. Please ask me something else. But Vishwamitra was adamant. He said, I want this boon. So Brahmadeva refused to give and he went back. Like this, he continued the japa and chanting of this Gayatri mantra. 10 times Brahmadeva manifested before him. 10 times. That is, imagine on one stretch, he chanted 24 lakh times, which went for 10,000 years. So how many years he must have chanted? How many crores of times he must have chanted? Even these days, people who perform the Shraddha ceremonies, I know of the people who perform the Shraddha ceremonies, when they sit in that position of receiving the soul or the Atma of the deceased, they chant one crore times Gayatri Japa to be eligible to sit in that position. Means a I mean, those who are really who can get those powers to do so. So then we offer the pinda and all those things. Well, anyway, so here Brahmadeva, Brahmadeva was unwilling to give that the position of a Brahma Rishi. Means that is, see, when you get the power of Brahmanatva by chanting the Gayatri mantra, you get the power equivalent to that of Brahma. Means you don't become Brahma, but you become effulgent, you become luminous, you become that. It is a certain power of which the rishis attain, where they can understand the Rigveda mantras. Means they can see, they are seers, and means they attain that highest divine knowledge just by of its own. Means they enter into that realm, they get that way, they get that knowledge contained in the Rig Veda. So that is that Brahma Rishi post where you get that knowledge. Now, Vishwamitra was from the Kshatriya, means he was born to a Kshatriya woman. So at the most, he could become a Raja Rishi. Brahmadeva blessed him with the title of Raja Rishi. Yes, you are a Raja Rishi. You can, as a Raja Rishi, you can even continue to be the king of the kingdom. That is, you can continue to rule and perform everything as a Raja Rishi. All the Kshatriya duties also you can perform, but I cannot give you Brahma Rishi title. But because of the powers of that mantra, he attained so much of luminosity, so much of power of his words, power of his thinking, that other Brahmins and sages and saints all around, they started considering him as a Brahmin himself. as a Brahma Rishi. They started calling him Brahma Rishi also. Though he was a Raja Rishi, they started calling him as Brahma Rishi. Out of fear, of course, sometimes, even like he demanded that you should treat me like a Brahmin, Vishwamitra. So they started addressing him as, treating him as a Brahmin and addressing him as a Brahma Rishi. But Vasishta Muni refused to accept him as a Brahma Rishi. Every time they would meet at some function, some gathering, he would address him as Raja Rishi. So this naturally hit the pain point. Vishwamitra didn't know what to do, how to make him save that, how to get that, earn that title of Brahma Rishi. So he was sad. He went back to his, he was in, went back, I mean, he was in a remorseful situation. He went back to his room in his palace and sort of was ruminating over this sorrowfully. At that moment, sage Yagnavalkya is one of the Saptarishis, the son of Brahmadeva. He happened to come to that palace. He met this Vishwamitra. He found Vishwamitra that in such a pitiful condition. Vishwamitra welcomed him. He was very happy to receive him. He performed his puja, worshipped him, Pada puja. He gave him an asana to sit. And Yagnavalkya inquired, "Why are you so sad? I came to know that you are having some kind of a remorseful thought or a remorseful feeling, and you're not happy with yourself. What is it? Can you share with me?" So the Vishwamitra replied, "I observed penance for 10,000 years on the Gayatri Mantra, and several times over, I chanted this Gayatri Mantra. Brahmadeva manifested, but he refused to give me the title of Brahma Rishi. He has given me the title of Raja Rishi, but I have acquired the powers. I am luminous. But I am not, some part of the society, part of my subjects are recognizing me as a Brahma Rishi. But still, Vasishta Muni avoids me, still calls me Raja Rishi. Am I not entitled to become a Brahma Rishi?" So Yagnavalkya, he understood his situation. He said, "Vishwamitra, sit down and listen to me carefully. I shall tell you a story. But first thing is, you should leave all your pride aside. Leave aside all that excessive pride, and also keep aside all the envy that you're feeling towards Vasishta, towards anybody. Means that feeling of envy, jealousy. Leave that aside. Both these things are necessary, a sense of pride and sense of envy. Both these you have to leave aside, then you listen to me. I'm going to tell you one story." So he begins the story of Kashi Vishweshwaraya. Now, why I'm going through this narration is where the desire for, whether it is for material wealth, for acquiring more and things, this possessiveness, for wanting more and more things, even knowledge, even title, position, where it takes you. So here Yajnavalkya tells Vishwamitra the story of Kashi Vishweshwara. Kashi was ruled by Vishweshwara. Vishweshwara is none other than Shankara himself, Lord Shiva. Kashi was ruled by Shankara Vishweshwara, and they were inseparable. He, both were Kashi Vishweshwara, Shiva was identified with Kashi. Means they were inseparable. It so happened that he was so possessive, this Vishweshwara, King Vishweshwara, he was so possessive of this Kashi, of this town of Kashi, that he forgot that he was the ruler. He would abandon the town, and then which resulted in disastrous floods. There were floods all over. People were washed off. People suffered. Their farmlands were suffered. That is, the crops were destroyed. So when all these things happened, Shambhu was unable to, in spite of all this, he was unable to feel to bear separation from Kashi. So now both of them, Kashi and Vishweshwar, Kashi as a, it may be considered a town, but if you consider it as an attachment to that land or to that property, that was the kind of attachment Vishweshwara developed, Shankara developed towards Kashi. So now here in this story, Yajnavalkya is telling Vishwamitra, Mudgalacharya is telling to Daksha Prajapati, and Suta is telling to Shaunaka. Suta is telling to Shaunaka and other rishis what he heard from Mudgalacharya as told to Daksha Prajapati, and the Mudgalacharya is telling what Yajnavalkya was telling to Vishwamitra. Now, even though there was such intense attachment to Kashi and Vishweshwara, they had to be separated. So Vishwamitra asked Yajnavalkya, why was Kashi separated from Vishweshwara? So Yajnavalkya tells that for 60 years it had not rained. Means because of this attachment of Shankara towards the town, he neglected his kingdom. He did not care for what was happening. He was engaged in his own thoughts or in his own meditation of and attachment or in his own reveries about Kashi, and he neglected his kingdom. So there was drought for 60 years, no rains. The entire creation on the earth was destroyed. See the destruction of all the people, the praja, they were suffering. In fact, many of them died of starvation. So Pitamaha Brahma saw the plight of Kashi. So he said that this cannot happen. This should not, this is not, this doesn't make sense. That is, this should not be allowed to happen. People cannot suffer like this because of the attachment of Shiva to Kashi. So he decided to separate Shiva. Somehow Shiva should be removed from Kashi. So he devised a plan. He went to one king, Divodasa. Divodasa was a king. He was a Surya devotee of Surya. And he did penance to Surya and had acquired the boons, blessings of Surya. And he was engaged in Surya. Although he was a king, he belonged to a Kshatriya dynasty. Surya is a Kshatriya dynasty. Kshatriya, as we know, Raghuvamsha. So he was belonging to Kshatriya dynasty, but he had his intense desire for penance and worship had become so much. Now he wanted liberation. He wanted moksha. So he was no longer interested in ruling any kingdom. He wanted only liberation. Brahmadeva approached Divodasa. He said, Divodasa, you are such a devotee, such a great devotee. I'm greatly impressed by your penance and all the powers that you have acquired. I have one request to make to you. I want you to become the king of Kashi. So he said, I want you to become the king. I want to hand over the kingdom of Kashi to you to rule. Please accept it. Divodasa said, I am not interested in ruling. I don't want to become a king. I want moksha. My desire is only moksha, liberation. I don't want to rule any kingdom or anything of the sort. Please grant me moksha if possible. Brahmadeva continued to request him. He said, please accept the reins of the kingdom. See the condition of that, of that Kashi. There is drought everywhere. If you become the king, the rains will come. There will be subiksha, that is plentiful in the kingdom. The people will be prosperous. The crops will grow. The trees will grow. So he listened to me. So Divodasa, out of compassion, he accepted the request and he became he went to the kingdom of Kashi. But he made one condition. He said, he put one condition, I will rule the kingdom of Kashi, but the Devas should not rule the earth. The Devas should go back to Swargaloka, to the heavens. They should remain in the heavens. No gods will be on earth. On earth, only humans will rule. On the heavens are for the gods, they will be there. And Patal Loka is for the demons, the asuras. So they will be in the Patal Loka. Then only I will rule the kingdom of Kashi. Brahmadeva accepted. Okay, I will see that the gods return to their Swargaloka and no gods are there on earth. And then on the other hand, what he did now, he has to remove Shiva from Kashi. So he devised another. There was one bhakta of Shiva on Mount Mandara, Mandara mountain, Marichi. Marichi was a great devotee of Shiva. He was doing penance for years and years and years, thousands of years, and now he was reduced to a skeleton. All he wanted was moksha. So Brahmadeva comes to Shiva and says, Shiva, you are in Kashi. You are supposed to look after your devotees. See, one of your devotees dying there on Mount Mandara. See, he's such a great devotee of you. He has been praying, worshipping you for thousands of years, and you have not even paid attention to him. Go to Mount Mandara. See, he's on the verge of death. Give him moksha. So he went. So Shiva and Parvati leave Kailash, leave Kashi, and go to Mount Mandara. There, sage Marichi is there performing penance. Now, almost he was reduced to skeleton. He was going almost on the verge of perishing. So the moment he saw Shiva there, he prostrated Sashtang Namaskar and he said, Oh Lord, please save me. I want moksha. Give me liberation. Now, Marichi was also one of the Saptarishis, of a son of Brahmadeva. So Shiva was pleased with this penance. He saw this devotee. He was in tears seeing this devotee, and he gave him moksha. And now moksha means there are different kinds of moksha. That is, there is Saloka Mukti, Sarupya Mukti, Samipa Mukti, and Sayujya Mukti. Saloka Mukti means remaining the same world as the Lord. Sarupya Mukti, you become the same form as the Lord of your worship. Samipa Mukti means being closer to the Lord. And Sayujya Mukti means becoming one with the Lord. So these are the 4 different types of liberation that these Ishwaras can grant to you. Whether it is Vishnu, Shakti, Shiva, Surya, all of them, they are able to give these kind of muktis. Not moksha. Liberations, total liberation is Swananda liberation. This kind of muktis can become. So now, since he had done the ultimate kind of devotion and penance, he attained Sarupya Mukti. He attained Sarupya Mukti. He became the form of the Lord. Okay? He became the form of the Lord. This Marichi. Now, Marichi was gone and Shiva, of course, he remained in that Mandar mountain for some time, enjoying the place, the scenery, and it was a beautiful place. He went around the place. After some time, when he thought of returning to Kashi, Brahmadeva came there and he said, I have already installed Divodasa there. You cannot go to Kashi. You have to remain here. O Shambhu, leave the city of Kashi, stay here at Mount Mandara. O Shankara, I have offered the kingdom of Kashi to Divodasa to avert the calamity of drought. He has accepted the kingdom on the condition that Devas will not rule the earth. So, no Deva should be on the earth. So that is his condition. So I have offered that kingdom to him on that condition for the welfare of the people on earth. So now, Mahadeva, please forgive me for this transgression. You cannot go there. Shiva had no other option because he was also equally an Ishvara and Brahmadeva was also an equally an Ishvara. So Shiva and Parvati remained at Mount Mandar. Destiny had forced separation from Kashi. Both of them had separated. Whatever Brahmadeva said was never false. It was always true. So now Shiva remained in Mount Mandar. Now the term Vishweshwara or Vishwanatha was no more applicable to him because it had no meaning. He was no more a Vishweshwara. So now the city of Kashi was also saddened. So he started meditating there on Mount Mandar. Kashi as a part of the earth also was sad because of separation from Shiva. She also went into meditation. Now here Divodasa began ruling the kingdom with all righteousness, with fulfilling all dharmas. Because he was a king, he was a Kshatriya, he knew all the rules or laws or dharma of a Kshatriya king. So he followed all the Varnashrama dharma. He insisted that all the subjects, all the people in his kingdom should follow the Varnashrama dharma. And so soon the rains came, the crops, there was flowering of the earth, the trees started flowing, the cows produced ample milk, the trees were laden with flowers and fruits. The ancestors and devas were delighted as the people started performing yajnas, yagas, and the swaha swada, that is offering made in the yajna kunda, goes directly as food to the gods in heaven. So the gods also started receiving the food. So everything was happening, was very as it should be according to the Varnashrama Dharma. All the people were happy. So how the king would worship? The king would first worship Dundi. Dundi is another name for Ganesha. He then performed the puja of Vishweshwara, that is the Pratima, the Linga, Shivalinga, Kashi Vishweshwara. Then he worshipped Jagadamba, followed by Kashi, worship of Kashi, then Manikarnika. Thereafter, he would worship Bhagirathi, Madhava, Jai, Jaigisha Vyaguha, Kala Bhairava, and the mighty Dandapani. So he worshipped all these gods in that particular order every day. So Dundi, Vishweshwara, Jagadamba, Bhagirathi, Madhava, Jaigishwarya Guha, Kala Bhairava, and the mighty Dandapani. So 7, right? 8. Dundi was first worship. Then Vishweshwara, Jagadamba, Manikarnika, 3. Then Bhagirathi, 4. Madhava, 5. Jaigaswya Guha, Jaigish Shavya Guha, Kala Bhairava, Dandapani. So 8 plus 1 Dundi. So 9. This was the serial order he worshipped daily. Every day he would perform this puja promptly to each one of them. And people and anybody, others, people who are not following the Varnashrama Dharma would be punished. In this manner, Kashi was ruled by Divodasa for 80,000 years. And there was no trace of sin in the kingdom. The Devas were happy in the heaven. But in the heaven, the Devas started wondering how this man is able to rule the whole of Kashi without us. He doesn't even need the gods. So they said, we will start testing him. See how jealousy comes. They wanted to test him. So Indra first sent Agni Deva, go and test. Indra, the Indra wanted to, he said, Agni Deva, now you leave the kingdom of Kashi. Okay, you leave the kingdom of Kashi. Abandon the kingdom of Divodasa. Abandon the kingdom of Divodasa. This was the instruction of Indra to Agni Deva. So there was no more fire in the kingdom. Agni, the element of Agni, disappeared. So what happened? People were not able to perform yajna yagas. So Divodasa, because of his powers of penance, he himself became the Agni Deva. Like that, one by one, the gods, Varuna, the air, fire, water, all the elements, one by one, they started leaving. But each one of them, Divodasa, by his power of penance, he became those elements, and nobody knew anything about it. Nobody realized the difference. Means nobody felt that these elements were not there. Devodasa had taken their places. In fact, these elements, the tattvas, are themselves gods. They are to be worshipped. They are worshipped as this. We worship the fire element and water element and everything. So these are also gods. So Devodasa assumed all those forms, and still the kingdom functioned very well, as if those elements had never left, as if those gods had never left. So all now devas, the gods, the Lord of Agni and all these tattvas who are in heaven, they were frightened now. They said Divodasa is able to assume all our roles also. See how powerful he is. He's a human being, but he has done so much of penance and he has assumed our own powers, and he's able to rule his kingdom so well. So all of these gods went to Brahmadeva and they surrendered and they prayed to Brahmadeva. Brahmadeva, we have lost our importance. The gods are telling Brahmadeva, we have lost our importance. See, the human beings, the Devodasa has become so powerful that he is able to assume all our roles also. Oh, Vibho, do something about this. So Brahmadeva replied, agreed. What you're saying, I understand your position. Now go to Divodasa. He's a king of mankind, and request him to return your positions back to you. He will definitely return. He will definitely reinstate you to your positions. So they go and pray. They go, so these gods, they pray to Brahmadeva. Now all of them, they approach Divodasa. So we will continue further what happens after that. Human being, the king of a land, of Kashi, of the earth. He started ruling the whole of earth because entire earth belonged to him. Now all the elements he had green. He himself had become those gods and which were controlling the various aspects of the earth. He had become so powerful. Now the gods themselves have come and asked, return us our positions. We want back our status. Let us see what Divodasa does tomorrow. So this ends the chapter 50. This we are continuing the story in order to understand better the kshipta, the rajasic tendencies in our mind, which if we as individual human beings, we may be as an individual, but if it goes to the extent of the king of a country, of nations, what happens? Which is most relevant even to the times we face today. We shall continue with this Mudgal Puran tomorrow. Let us all get ready for meditating. All what we have heard so far shall be the subject matter of contemplation as it relates to us. So let us bring our mind into our body. Be aware of your physical presence. You are seated there in your room, on the chair, feet on the floor, hands on your lap, palms facing upwards, spine erect. See that your neck, your head, and the head, neck, and the spine are aligned in a straight line. Gently close your eyes. The smile on your face, bring all your attention to your breathing. Observe the breath. You will have to bring the attention to your breathing. Let the thoughts be. You can tell your mind, now I want to focus on my breathing. I shall attend to you later. Keep that thinking mind aside. Bring your attention to your breathing. Feel the air on your nostrils. Feel your presence in the body. Look at yourself as this person sitting there. Let the mind count 1 to 8 as you inhale and 1 to 8 as you exhale. Feel the breath as it enters your lungs. And be with your breath all the way as you exhale. Keep counting. If you find a gap between your inhalation and exhalation, pause in that gap. Do not be in a hurry to exhale. If you finish the count of 1 to 8 and you can't exhale naturally immediately, then pause for two counts or 4 counts in that gap. Don't forcefully exhale. This is a power that you develop when you have started breathing steadily over a period of time. In this rhythmic breathing, there is a pause between inhalation and exhalation. Similarly, there is a pause between exhalation and inhalation. After completely exhaling, you may pause without taking the in breath for a count of 2. See if you can get into this rhythm. Count 8, stop for 2, count 8, stop for 2, then inhale, count 8. That gap between inhalation and exhalation, that place where pure consciousness exists. It's just for a split second. You cannot do more than that, but that's where you get connected to your consciousness. Pure consciousness. Don't force it. Just two, count two, not more than that. Then you feel the difference in the silence, the texture of the silence, the texture of the silence of the mind is different from the texture of the silence of consciousness. Don't forget to breathe. Keep breathing. Keep the count. Do not prolong that gap. Just that split second. Continue breathing. Inhale to the count of 8. Hold to the count of 4. Exhale to the count of 8. Hold to the count of 2. Then inhale. Hold yourself within your full presence in the pranavayu, in the breath. Even when you hold it in, be fully aware. Be fully aware. Don't miss the count. Right now, I want you to continue the counting. It's easy to get lost in that consciousness. It will draw you. Please be alert and count only to two. Experience that silence. You might reach a stage where your mind may refuse to count. It's okay. Just see that you are breathing. Since the mind no longer exists, you may not be able to count, but keep breathing. Be present for your breath. Be aware and attentive to your breath. Your attention is important. That attention will grow in its power and strength. Even without the mind, you will be attentive. That is a muscle. Your attention is like a muscle. Keep breathing. The attention does not seek anything. It's just pure attention. Keep breathing. Now, bring your attention to the top of your head, at the Sahasrara, at the fontanel bone area. And just be there. You don't have to think anything or do anything. Now, as you breathe, feel the air go towards the Sahasrara. You may be breathing through your nostrils, but some portion may move towards the Sahasrara where your attention is. Beautiful. Now bring your attention to your breathing, to your nostrils. We will be coming out of your meditation. Wriggle your fingers on your hands and your toes. If your legs have gone stiff, shake it a bit. Rub your palms together. Cup your palms, place it on your eyes. Don't open your eyes yet. Rub your hands along your face. Remain seated. Remain with your breath. Remain in this silence as long as you are comfortable until you feel the need to open your eyes. You can remain in this state for some more time. Do not force any thought to come, let it come on its own. If you can remain in this thoughtless state for as long as possible, it will take you to deeper states of meditation in future. You can open your eyes when you're comfortable, when you're ready. I hope you have been able to experience the deepest part of yourself in this past half hour. If you have any questions, you can email me or message me. I shall be more than happy to answer them. We shall conclude today's session over here. Take care.